And we are here at the Children's Coalition Incorporated. My name is Carlton Cartwright. And we're shooting this for the Veterans History Project for the Library of Congress. We're here today with, what is your name, miss?
Britany Glasper.
Okay, and where do you live?
Right now I live in San Diego, California.
Okay, what branch of the service are you in?
The United States Navy.
Okay, were you drafted or were you enlisted?
Enlisted.
No. Where were you living before you went in the service?
Oh, in West Palm Beach, Florida.
Okay, why did you join? Why did you enlist?
To pay for the rest of my college and my education.
Why did you pick that service branch?
The Air Force, the wait was too long.
Okay, that's reasonable. Do you recall your first days in the service?
Yes.
What was that like?
Very different.
Tell me about your boot camp.
Boot camp was not what I thought it would be. It was a lot easier than I thought it would be, but it was. I met my best friend in boot camp.
Okay. Did you serve? Did you see any combat?
No, not at all.
Okay. When did you enlist?
February 2014.
Okay. And that was, I guess, here in Palm Beach County?
Yes.
Uh-huh. So tell me about boot camp. Tell me all about it.
Boot camp, you get there, you have to fill out tons of paperwork. There's hundreds of people, and they're pretty much weeding everybody out that has problems physically or mentally or whatever, and then you get placed in a division, and then you just learn everything that you need to know, basically how to get by, and you get all your uniforms, and you do all your physical fitness exercises and stuff, and then at the end you take a physical fitness test, your PFA, and then you pass, and then you graduate, and then you go off to a school for your specific job.
Okay. So you said basic training wasn't as hard as you thought it was going to be?
Yeah.
So what did you do?
It's pretty easy. So you'd wake up, they yell at you, you learn how to address certain people by rank, like a chief or an officer. You learn how to put on your uniform. It's very tedious. You know how to, make your bed to military preferences, I guess. Standards, yeah. And just how to keep in shape. They kind of show you how to eat and sleep well. You stand watch. There's a lot of marching, and you learn how to shoot as well. Shoot 2 types of guns, an M9 and a shotgun.
Wow. What was that all about? How was that?
It was actually really fun. I liked it.
How much practice did you get with those weapons?
You got a few hours. It actually went really quickly because there's so many people that they process, so I'd say they gave us 2 days, and then the first day is training, and then the second day is when you shoot the real gun in the shooting range, and then that's when they pass you or fail you.
Okay. So you passed?
Yes.
Had a good time, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Tell me about your instructors. What were they like?
They were pretty cool. I had one chief, a second class, and a first class. One was a female, and the other 2 were males. They were just kind of. They process hundreds of people as well, so it's that division that I was in. It's like this routine thing that they do for 8 weeks straight, and then it's another group for the following 8 weeks, and so on and so forth. So I feel like there really wasn't a connection, but they were really cool. So it didn't really, I don't know. You didn't really bond with these people. It was kind of just a process.
All right. Where was your first duty station?
My first duty station was Yokosuka, Japan.
Okay. What did you go to tech school for? Before we go that far.
So I was undesignated. I didn't have a job or a specific rate. So they just send you. It kind of prepares you for deck department, and deck department is where undesignated seamen go, and it's basically driving the ship, like helmsman, lee helmsman, a lot of deck rigging, hands-on work, and very dirty.
Where did you? Okay, when you left here, where was the first place that you went?
I went to Great Lakes in Illinois.
Okay, and what was that about? That was just to be inducted?
That's boot camp and your A school. So A school is right after boot camp.
And A school, what did you do in A school?
A school, it's like they kind of teach you what you're going to be doing, like for your job in the Navy.
And what did they teach you?
I mean, my school was only like 2 weeks long, so it was just. I mean, they didn't really teach me enough for about like the job, because it's like you're basically going to be cleaning 24/7, and that's basically what I did when I got to my first ship.
So, okay, and so when you left there, the Great Lakes, where'd you go?
I went to Japan.
Oh, straight to Japan.
Well, they let you take leave before you go.
Uh-huh.
So I came home to Florida
Right.
for like 17 days, and then I left to go to Japan.
Okay. All right. So when you got to Japan, what was your initial feeling?
I was excited at first, but when I actually arrived there, I was just like, oh my gosh, like I'm really far from home. It was actually kind of scary, and I was like, ugh. But once I got used to riding the train and like going out in town and just kind of learning Japan, it was really fun, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Did you interact with any of the people there, Japanese?
Yeah.
Did you make a few Japanese friends?
A couple.
Okay. All right. How long? So you went in February. You go to the Great Lakes. How long were you up there altogether?
I'd say about like 9 weeks.
9 weeks.
In Great Lakes, yeah.
So you're up there for like two and a half months, approximately, right? So how long were you in Japan?
I was in Japan for 2 years.
Okay. So tell me about it. The job, that's where you were a helmsman?
Yeah, the job description, when I chose my rate, it's called boatswain mate. I was boatswain mate. So that's when you drive the ship. It's a lot of just dirty work. It's like a handy job. A lot of what's the word? A lot of fixing things and
Repairman.
Yeah, sort of.
What'd you fix?
So
Doors, tables, chairs, boats.
well, I do that now, but it's just like cleaning and like maintenance, fixing, getting like rust off things and making it like better, repainting, a lot of maintenance.
Refurbishing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's a pretty boring job.
Okay. So so was that the whole job? Was that the entire job was that everything that you did work-wise for those 2 years?
In Japan, well, they sent me to a school. It's called coxswain school, and that's how they teach you to learn how to drive a small boat. And the small boat that we had on board, because there was a 3-star admiral, there's an admiral's barge, so I was taught how to drive that boat, so I could drive the admiral around when we'd like hit different ports on deployment.
Right. Okay.
So I drove that boat around, and we fixed it and cleaned it and all that good stuff.
Okay. Okay. Instructors, again, did they, so you're saying it sort of like came up short on teaching? Okay, so I guess you got the bulk of your training, OJT, so to speak, when you got to your first duty station.
Yeah, it's kind of like you learn as you go.
What is that like driving a boat?
It's actually really fun. It's like driving a car, really.
Right. That's a pretty big car.
Yeah.
How large of a boat have you been stationed on and driven?
I was on LCC 19 USS Blue Ridge. That was the ship that I was on, and I drove that ship. So it's an amphibious type ship, so it's not as big as a carrier, but it's a lot bigger than a destroyer. if you look on Google, you can just type in amphibious naval ship and you'll see it. Or you could just type in LCC-19.
You know, okay, all right. But you tell me footage. Is it a mile long or half mile or football field?
Yeah, I'd say about like a football field.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you didn't see any combat?
No.
But did anybody get hurt in your unit?
No one, and even if someone did get hurt, it's because it was like an accident. Someone like fell down a ladder well or like cut themselves cooking in the kitchen or something like that.
Did those types of incidences happen a lot? Were they frequent?
No, not frequent. I'd say every other month maybe something happens.
Okay. Were you awarded any medals or citations?
I was given awards for voluntary services. So like the admiral would throw Christmas parties and like you'd volunteer to work or serve food or prepare or like serve drinks or whatever. And then, because it was literally like the whole day and it was like the weekend when you don't work. So I got 2 awards for that actually.
Okay. Where else did you travel besides Japan?
I've been to Korea, Guam, the Philippines, Mumbai, India. What's the other one called? Another place in India, I forget the name. But Singapore, Thailand, Sydney, Australia, Brisbane, Australia, and Zhangjiang, China. I've been to Shanghai, Hong Kong, and Qingdao, China.
Okay. How did you feel about those places?
They were very interesting. Each place had its own like experience. It was very cool, like going out in town. And the ship, like they'll set up different trips and like excursions that you can pay for to go. And I would always go because most people would just go to bars and drink. And it's like, no, I want to go on like a nice like trip and see like the culture.
Cool. Which one impressed you the most? Or
I was in...
were you impressed?
I was in India and we went on a trip to an elephant sanctuary.
Right.
And then we they took us to a waterfall and you go through a jungle to get to the waterfall and there's like monkeys and they'll come up to you and you can feed them. And we got to get into a river and bathe an elephant and then take pictures with it. And then they'd serve us like traditional like Indian food. It was really good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, what is it? Montezuma's Revenge or anything like that? No?
No.
All good, huh? Okay. That's not funny. Anyway, all right. How did you feel about officers? I'm just going to bounce around a little bit. How did you get along with...
Some of the officers were pretty cool. The younger ones were cool, and so, like the more rank that they had, the more that they felt that they were above enlisted people, or even a junior officer. But I did have a captain that he was really down to earth, and he would speak to you like a normal human being. But some of them they wouldn't even talk to you at all.
Give you the time of day, huh?
Yeah.
Really?
It was pretty bad.
Okay. How did you stay in touch with your family?
Internet access. The ship had internet access, so you had Facebook, like social media, all that, email. We had phones on board. You could call home, so it was really easy to keep in contact.
Did you have all the supplies that you needed?
Yeah.
So you were stationed in Japan. Where else were you stationed?
Japan was my first sea duty station, and then my second duty station is in San Diego, California.
How long have you been there? For another 2 years, or?
Yeah, so it was a split tour, so I'll do 2 years in Japan and then 2 years in San Diego.
Okay, so where did you travel while you were in San Diego?
Right now we've only been to different parts of California, and then we'll just kind of sit off the coast of California doing like sea trials and underways. But once we leave for deployment next month, that's when we'll hit different countries. Usually it's like Hawaii, Japan, Singapore, kind of the same places when I was stationed in Japan.
Really? You're just going to go right back to the Pacific Theater? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how has the food been all the way through the Navy? Any good, bad, the ugly?
The food served on board is terrible. Like it's garbage. And I'd say if you were vegetarian or if you were conscious about the food that you're eating, like you're probably going to starve.
Really?
Yes.
I thought the food was pretty good, no?
No.
That's what I heard.
No, it's not. It's pretty terrible.
That's not good. Did you feel, have you felt a lot of pressure and stress in your career in the military so far, in the Navy?
Yeah, there's a lot of stress. The environment, I don't know how to explain it, but it's very stressful, and everyone is stressed out, and it's like an ongoing cycle, like it never ends. Like you wake up and it's like the same thing every day, but it just doesn't seem to get better. It gets worse, and everyone's miserable. Yeah, it's...
Why? What do you think attributes to that? Is it a morale issue? Is it being on a boat? Is it...
I think it's just being on the boat, because we're trapped, in the middle of the ocean. You can't leave, and it's like you're just working, and I don't know, the food's not good, and then there's just people that are just so miserable. They make others miserable, and if you don't find that one thing, or if you don't change your routine, then it just starts to become very dull and very mundane. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Was there anything special that you did for luck, to get through it?
I would just hang out with my friends. Like after we were done working, we'd sit on the mess decks and just talk or watch movies together, do laundry, eat snacks and just talk.
Okay. You remember anything particularly humorous that happened during your service so far? Nothing funny, huh? Nothing funny. Okay, moving right along. Did you keep a diary?
No.
No? Okay. Okay, let me ask you about, have you pursued any educational opportunities, schooling at all while you're in the service?
Well, during deployment, you can take classes, and I'm going to take 2 classes this deployment, so it'll take off 2 classes that I'll take once I get out, so it'll kill time. They only allow you to take up to 3, so.
So you plan on using your GI Bill?
That's going to be TA, tuition assistance, so I won't have to touch my GI Bill while I'm still in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
While you're still on active duty?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Trying to think. Something in particular that I meant to ask you. Have you ever thought about becoming an officer?
I did in the beginning, and then I know now that I'm just not, I don't want a military career.
No?
No, it's not for me.
Tell me about a couple of your most memorable experiences while you've been in the service so far.
Learning, when I went to coxswain school, when they train us, they taught me how to, we'd have to, drive the boat full speed, and then we'd have to race the port ops boat. That's like the VMAs
on
base. It's like the police, the naval police, and they'd drive next to you, and we were racing, and then you'd have to touch bows, and then you just kind of break off really, really fast. It was really fun.
Oh, okay.
That was pretty cool. How Oh, and then every port visit that we would have, I remember we were in Mumbai, India, we'd have a party called a Big Top, and that was the admiral would show up, and then the country's dignitaries, they would all kind of mix and mingle. And I went to one in Mumbai, India, and then I got to meet different people from the Indian Navy, and it was pretty cool.
Okay, so yeah, like these interactions with all of these countries. I mean, you've been to all of these different countries. Tell me about some of the interactions that you've had. You know, like that one, for instance. Tell me some more about it. What was their? You said the Indian Navy.
Yes, the Indian
What was
Navy.
their Navy like?
Well, a lot of them were drinking a lot, so you couldn't really get into like an in-depth conversation. They'd kind of just ask you about like American culture, or they'd ask me about the Navy and how I liked it. So it was kind of brief, but it was still fun. But I met people from the Sri Lankan Navy. We went to Sri Lanka, and that country, the men are just very aggressive, and I guess women don't really have a place in society there, so they kind of just treated the women like crap. And I was just like, it was very different, and they didn't understand when like the females in the Navy were speaking to them, like they'd get like offended or kind of angry.
Really?
Yeah, we're in Colombo, Sri Lanka. Yeah.
That's the name of the place?
Mm-hmm.
Colombo?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Wow. Did okay, well, I guess moving right along. And okay, so what about in those and what else did you witness as far as things like how women were treated in those other countries?
Like how women were treated in all of the other countries?
Well, yes.
Was
it the same, better, different?
It was better, I'd say, in all of the other countries except for Sri Lanka. In Singapore, like if you disrespected the modesty of a woman, like you could get arrested. So I'd say Sri Lanka, it was just very backwards.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, how did you feel about the customs? Well, and I also wanted to ask you, do you have any friends that you stay in touch with? That's like whether they're military or civilians in those countries.
No. Most of the interactions that I had with people in the foreign countries, it was just people we would just meet. I didn't really make friends when I was in these.
Okay. Because I guess a lot of transiency, huh?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay, okay. Besides the military, by the way, do you belong to any other veterans organizations?
No.
Okay, great. So what do you think about going into the future? Okay, basically, I guess, what do you call the job? Helmsman, is that the job?
Boatswain mate is the job.
Huh?
The title.
Boatswain mate.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the only job that you've held?
Yes.
Okay. What did you want to do?
I didn't really know what I wanted, but I kind of got coaxed into choosing that rate, and then I wasn't really guided the way I should have been.
Right.
As an undesignated seaman, I was told lies, basically. So I kind of got stuck with a job I didn't want.
Right.
And then I tried to cross-rate and choose another job, but that didn't really work for me because the people that were helping me, there was one person, she was really helpful, and she helped me build my package to cross-rate. I was trying to cross-rate to legalman, but you have a career counselor, and he was pretty new, so I don't think he knew exactly what to do for that job, and then I ended up not being able to get it, and then I left to go to San Diego, and then I tried again, and it's still not working, so I'm just gonna get out.
You're going to separate?
Yes.
So you got 2 years left?
Like 8 months.
8 months? You're down to your last 8 months?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what do you plan on doing when you separate?
I'm gonna go back to college, and I want to get my bachelor's degree in aeronautical science, so I can become a commercial pilot.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, before we go deeper into that, what were you doing before you went into service?
I went to college. I was a student at University of South Florida, and I was a music performance major. I played violin like my entire life.
Right.
And then I kind of got bored of it, and then I got my associate's in arts degree, and then I was working at Urban Outfitters as a clothing store, and then I didn't really know what I wanted to do, so I joined the Navy, and it was kind of like paid thinking time. And then I found my calling, and I'm going to use my military benefits to pay for college and then pursue my career in aviation.
Cool. You're excited about that, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
That's good. What makes you want to fly? How long have you known you wanted to fly? What was your inspiration?
I have a few friends that are flight attendants, and they were actually talking to me about becoming one when I get out of the Navy, but I wanted to look into actually like operating an aircraft instead of just being a flight attendant.
Right.
And it interests me, and I think it would be really fun to learn how to fly an airplane, so that was just how it went.
Okay.
It's pretty simple.
Cool. Okay, how has your military experience influenced your thinking about war or about the military in general so far?
My military experience? Well, I haven't been to war. I've never been in a very dangerous area. But, supposedly we're going there this summer, or maybe early fall. We're going to be in the Middle East, like near Bahrain. It's called Fifth Fleet. And apparently, I guess it's near Syria. They're like shooting missiles at other naval ships, so we're going to be in a very like high risk, dangerous area. So I feel like I could answer that question after when I come back.
Okay, I understand. Okay. How has your service and experiences affected your life so far?
It's affected my life in positive and negative ways, but it's easier to come out of the negative because of all of the benefits that I'm receiving once I finish my contract. That's just how I see it. So, I mean, the negative, I feel like it's just temporary. It's not forever, so.
How have, so, I mean, okay, overall, would you say the experience in the military, has it been, positive or negative? Would you recommend it for any of your friends?
I would recommend it for someone that wants a military career, or if they can't pay for school and they don't mind joining. It's a way to, travel the world and see different countries and cultures, but it's a lot of give and take. There's a lot of sacrifice. Like your freedom, you're sacrificing your freedom, you're basically on call 24/7.
Right. All right. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add that we haven't covered in the interview?
No.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you for the interview, and I also want to thank you for your service.